This tutorial is for Excel Project 19. To begin with, we download the data file, and then we'll go ahead and go to File and Save As. And then we're going to browse and find our Google Drive. Once in your Google Drive, find your digital literacy folder and your Excel folder. And we're going to name this Project 19 and click on Save. Now it says to remember the formatting rules for headings, subheadings, and column headings. And it looks like those are already formatted for us. I am going to double check my column widths. And it looks like those adjust just a tiny bit. We're on step 2, create a pie chart illustrating the male American Idol favorites on a new sheet. So what we'll do for this is we will highlight our contestant names, then we'll hold down our control key and we'll highlight the male favorites. So we have those two pieces of information. Then we're going to go to the Insert tab and we'll go over to the Charts group and we're going to choose a pie chart. And since it doesn't specify, we'll just do a 2D pie chart. And once that comes up, we now have two new tabs. We have a Chart Tools Design tab and a Chart Tools Format tab. On our Chart Tools Design tab, the very last button is the Move Chart button. We're going to click on that, and we're going to tell this to be a new sheet. And we're going to name our new sheet Male Favorites and click on OK. And we'll see that sheet pop up at the bottom there. Now it tells us for our next step, for the main heading, use American Idol -male favorites. So to do that, we're going to click on this placeholder for chart title. With it selected, all we have to do is start typing, and we're going to turn on our cap lock and we'll key in the text American, and we can see this happening in our formula bar, not down here yet, that's okay. Idol space hyphen space male favorites, and then we'll press enter, and once we press enter, that title placeholder will update. Then it says for the subheading, use Project 19A, and it tells us the subheading must be inserted after the chart is created. It may be necessary to adjust the font size. So to add a subheading, we're going to click after the S in favorites inside our little title here, and we're going to press enter. That gives us a second row. We're going to turn off our cap lock and we're going to type in Project 19A, and then we'll go ahead and click off of our little chart title, and that should allow our pie chart to resize itself. Now we're going to have to take a look at the sizes of our text. So I'm going to click back on this and I'm going to highlight American Idol male favorites. And I'm going to actually go to my Home tab, and I'm going to take a look and see that right now my font size is 14, and we know that a title should be 15 point, so I'm going to change that, and that it should be bold. And then we know that our subtitle, or our subheading, should be 11 point and no bold. And then when I click off of that, again, everything should adjust and look proper. Step 3, be sure to display percentages with null places on the pie chart. Now, to add this, we're actually going to use these 3 buttons over here. And we're going to add a new element, so we're going to click on the plus symbol, and we're going to be adding a data label. Now, rather than just hitting the check mark here and accepting whatever the default is, we're going to click on the little arrow out to the right, and we're going to tell it where we want it to show up. And we're going to choose best fit. And it goes ahead and it puts little numbers on there for us. I'm going to click on this little plus symbol to drop that back down. Now I want to control what these little numbers do. So I'm going to hold my mouse pointer over one of those numbers and double click. And that opens up a Format Data Labels pane on the right hand side. From here, I want to make sure I'm on the Format Data Labels tab here, which is going to be these 3. Okay, let me say this again. I want to open the Format Data Labels pane on the right, and then once the pane is open, I want to be on the 4th option here, which is the 3 bars, which is our label options. Okay, from here, I'm going to put a check mark on percentage and take the check mark off of value. Then it tells us to have no decimal places. Our decimal places are controlled right down here where we have number. I can click on the drop down, and right now we are set at general. I would click on the drop down for that, and I would choose number, and here's where I can set the number of decimal places, and I'm going to change that to 0. Oh, I'm sorry, it wants this as percentage with 0 decimal places. Let me fix that again. So we want to change that to percentage and then our decimal places to 0. Then I'm going to click on the X to close this pane, and it tells me next to change the colors and fonts of the chart to make it appear professional and creative. And it actually looks like it's a pretty decent looking chart, so I'm not going to change any of those colors at this time. And then for this one, it wants a footer with our name, period, and file name. To add a footer, I'm going to go to the Insert tab, and then over to the text group, and then header and footer, and I have to choose custom footer. And then in the left section, I'll put in my name, or you guys will put in your name. In the center, you'll put in your class period. And then over at the right, we'll put in the file name. And if we hover over these buttons, you should get a quick tip that pops up and tells you which one is the file name button. Then you'll click on OK and OK again. And we can't see that footer unless we go to File and Print and see our print preview. So here's my print preview, and down at the bottom I can see my footer. Now we're not really going to print this, so I'm going to hit my back arrow. At this point, it says to save this as project 19A and convert to a PDF. So I'm going to go to File and Save As, and I'm going to change this to 19A, and I'm going to make sure my location is still my digital literacy folder, and I'll hit Save. And then to convert to a PDF, I will go to File, down to Export, create PDF XPS, and create PDF. And I will leave the name as Project 19A and publish. Okay, we're going to create a second pie chart now, illustrating the total favorites. To do that, we'll go back to sheet 1. And we want to re-highlight our data. So I'm going to highlight our contestant names again, and then hold down Control, and this time I'm going to highlight the total votes. So Control allows me to highlight two columns that are non-adjacent, which means they are not right next to each other. Once I have those two separate columns highlighted, I go to the Insert tab, and then over to the Charts group, and we'll go to our pie charts again, and we'll do another 2D pie chart. And we want this to be on its own page again. So on our Chart Tools Design tab, we're going to click on the very last button, Move Chart, and we'll click on New Sheet, and then we'll name this chart Total Favorites. And once the chart pops up, we need to add the elements. The first thing is fixing our title. So I'm going to click once on the title to select it, turn my cap lock on, and key in my main heading, which is American Idol space hyphen space total favorites, and then I'll press enter. And then I'm going to click inside my chart title, so I see that little flashing cursor, and I'm going to press enter to create a second line, turn my cap lock back off, and I'm going to key in project 19B. And then while I'm in here, I am going to highlight the subheading project 19B, and I'm going to make it 11 point. And then I'm also going to highlight the main heading, American Idol Total Favorites. I'm going to make it bold and 15 point. Then I'm going to click off of that, and my pie chart underneath should adjust. For this one, it wants us to display percentages with 2 decimal places. So I'm going to click on my little plus symbol here on the right, and I'm going to go down to data labels, and I'm going to go to the arrow out to the right, and I'm going to choose best fit again. Then I'll click on the plus symbol to hide that. Then I'll put my mouse on top of one of those numbers and double click. That opens up the Format Data Labels pane on the right hand side, and then making sure I'm on the 4th option, the label options, I'm going to choose percentage and turn value off. And then I'm going to scroll down to the bottom and make sure number is expanded and change my category to percentage and make sure my decimal places is set to 2. Then I'm going to go ahead and close. And then it says to change your colors and fonts of the chart to make it appear professional and creative. Now the thing that we have to remember, if we use any of these pre-made chart styles, they are awesome, but if I choose one, such as this one, notice that it does change the heading to a default heading size, which I think is like 18 point. So you're welcome to use one of these awesome chart styles, but if you do that, you will have to go back to the heading and you'll have to readjust those sizes. So I'd have to come here, make sure it's bold, and then I need to change this to 15 point. And then the subheading, I would highlight, remove the bold, and make it 11 point. Okay. So just make sure if you do use one of those preset styles, which are great, and you can also change the colors with that, and the different color schemes look really nice as well. And you're welcome to choose any of those. Just make sure if you do that, that you go back and double check that your heading did not change. Now this one wants a header with our name, period, and file name. So I'm going to go to the Insert tab, over to the text group, and down to header and footer, and we'll click on Custom Header this time. At the left, we'll put in our name, the center, our class period, and then in the right, put in that file name and click on OK and OK. And at this point, we're going to go to File and Save As and change this to 19B. And then we're going to convert to a PDF again. So we'll go to File, Export, Create PDF XPS, Create PDF XPS, and click on Publish. Now we should have 2 charts that have been created, and both of those should be in our Google Drive. We have 19A and 19B. Make sure both of those charts get uploaded to Canvas. If I open the PDF, I just want to show you that the only thing that was added to the PDF was the chart that we were on when we created the PDF. So even though our original file has 5 tabs, when we converted it to the PDF, it only converted the tab that we were on. So you should still have 2 separate PDFs, the A and the B.